Hello, hello, and welcome to the Intelligence Mod Pod. As always, I am Bobby, and with me I have Dane. And we're going to be talking about Monk Subclass by the 2024 Player Handbook. Now, if you're following along with us, this is going to start on page 104, so crack open your book and meet us there. Dane, do you play monks a lot? Have you dabbled with any of these subclasses?
I have dabbled in monks before. It was the 2014 version. So these 2024 versions definitely have a lot of positives going for them as opposed to the 2014 one. So I have played a mercy monk before with like the healing and the damage, but outside
Mhm.
of that, I do not have too much experience with them outside of making a very broken open hand monk on Baldur's Gate 3.
Love to hear it. I have no experience playing monks. I can be upfront about that, but I have a lot of experience with my players harassing me with monks. Because I made a statement one time that I hate monks more than any other class, and ever since I've made that statement, I don't think I've had like a campaign without one.
You invited this chaos into your own campaigns.
I really did. I am actively bullied by my players' monks at least twice to three times a week. And it's horrible and I really hate them, but they're so good. So I can't even be mad at hating them because they are a really, really good class. And I feel like most of their subclasses are also really, really good also. And
Mhm.
they offer a lot of flavor.
And to start us off, we'll talk about the Warrior of Mercy, one that I'm a little bit familiar with. So manipulate forces of life and death. Warriors of Mercy manipulate the life forces of others. These monks are wandering physicians, but they bring a swift end to their enemies. They often wear masks, presenting themselves as faceless bringers of life and death. At level 3, we're going to pick up Hand of Harm. Once per turn, when you hit a creature with an unarmed strike and deal damage, you can expend one focus point to deal extra necrotic damage equal to one roll of your martial arts die plus your wisdom modifier. At level 3, we kind of get the opposite of that with the Hand of Healing. As a magic action, you can expend one focus point to touch a creature and restore a number of hit points equal to a roll of your martial arts die plus your wisdom modifier. When you use your flurry of blows, you can replace one of the unarmed strikes with the use of this feature without expending a focus point for the healing. And finally, at level 3, we'll kind of go over these two right after I finish this one. Implements of Mercy. You gain proficiency in the Insight and Medicine skills and proficiency with the Herbalism kit. So, a lot of stuff out of the gate with the Warrior of
Mhm.
Mercy. You have your potential for healing, and you got your potential for harm, which is quite nice.
As someone who absolutely despises the monk, this sings everything that I want to hear. I feel like I've made it very well known that insight is my favorite skill in the game, and I feel like not a lot of classes or subclasses are giving you proficiency into it just outright. And medicine's also always a great way to go. Herbalism kit, if you are healing, amazing to make potions with. So this brings, for me, if I was going to play a monk, which I don't think will ever happen, but if I was, this is a very tempting level 3 for me.
Yeah.
Because I like, Hand of Harm, we get to do a little bit of extra damage, that's magic damage. Hands of Healing, if we're, doing our Fury of Blows, we can just throw that in there without expending the focus point. So every time, well, I think because you're already expending a focus point to do Fury of Blows,
Yeah.
but you're just getting to throw out this extra healing that normally would be like a separate action.
Yeah. And at level 3, your martial arts die is a 1d6. So it's, these extra modifiers are 1d6 and they will go up as your martial arts die goes up. For example, at level 5, it'll go up to that 1d8. So you're going to get even
Hmm.
more out of this feature as you get higher up.
Yeah, so do I think that you're going to be the main healer of the group? Probably not. But will your healers absolutely love you when you're up in the front line healing their other frontline members while doing a absolutely ridiculous amount of damage? Absolutely. I don't think I would ever be upset to have a Mercy Monk on my team as a healer. And if you don't have a healer and no one really wants to play just, a straight up healer, this is a great way to go to, keep people in the battle up front. At level 6, we're going to be getting Physician's Touch. Your Hands of Harm and Hand of Healing improve as detailed below. Your Hand of Harm, whenever you use Hand of Harm on a creature, you also give that creature the poisoned condition until the end of your next turn. And Hand of Healing, when you use your Hand of Healing, you can also end one of the following conditions on a creature you heal: blind, deafened, paralyzed, poisoned, or stunned. This, to me, is, I think, better than having Lesser Restoration, because it only costs you a key point if you do it just by itself, or you can just throw it in there while you're punching the crap out of an enemy to help one of your team members get some health and get rid of one of these conditions. On one hand, poison condition for Hand of Harm, it means that they're going to be attacking with disadvantage. So right off the bat, even if you're focusing on more of a support build, that is a support, mentality right there, because you are keeping them from doing damage. And the only thing better than healing is to not take damage in the first place. And Hand of Healing, again, it's a very, very cheap Lesser Restoration that does a couple extra things like stunned and blinded that you can heal.
Lesser Restoration does cure blindness, but that stunned feature is added onto there. And this is in addition to the healing that you're doing. So you're healing them and getting rid of this condition that they have. Now, of course, with poison condition, it just depends on the type of creature that you're going up against. Some of them have poison immunity and all that kind of stuff. So, you might have to kind of pick your targets a little bit strategically, but both of these are an improvement on an already kind of great starting third level feature. At level 11, we're picking up Flurry of Healing and Harm. When you use Flurry of Blows, you can replace each of the unarmed strike with the use of Hand of Healing without expending focus points for the healing, so that's nice. And in addition, when you make an unarmed strike with Flurry of Blows and deal damage, you can use your Hand of Harm with that strike without expending a focus point for Hand of Harm. You can still only use Hand of Harm only once per turn. You can use these benefits a total of times equal to your Wisdom modifier and regain all uses when you finish a long rest. So this basically makes it so when you use Flurry of Blows, which takes up a key point, you can use the Hand of Healing or Hand of Harm for free, essentially, with just that one cost of the focus point to use Flurry of Blows. So more or less saving a lot of those key points when you pick up this feature to use for other reasons. You got that Step of the Wind, Patient Defense that you can also now have more key points available for if you so choose.
And with this, it is each of the unarmed strikes for Flurry of Blows. So you're getting quite a bit of burst healing right out the gate. And if you have multiple targets around you that you're trying to heal, you can pop multiple people with this, or you can just put what is Flurry of Blows? 2 attacks.
Yeah.
That's 2 conditions that you're now healing if you really have someone who the DM has taken personal issue with that day.
Or 2. Well, Flurry of Blows is on this. Can Flurry of Blows, the 2 attacks that you get from it, be directed at 2 different people?
I feel like it can.
Yeah, I feel like it can. So if you have 2 people that have been blinded, you can run up and just hit them both and cure the blindness off of both of them and give them a little bit of healing. And by level 11, that you're just at level 11 where we just hit it, the monk die goes up to a D10 now.
So if you're trying to cure conditions, I definitely, at least within these conditions that were given, I think the Mercy Monk is way better of a choice. If you have a DM that really enjoys doing conditions, this is definitely what you want to take over, a cleric or a druid. I mean, still have a cleric or druid because they're great, but these guys do have a very clear niche that I think they fulfill extremely well. And honestly, I enjoy it. I think it's a good subclass so far. But then we hit level 17 with Hand of Ultimate Mercy. You master life energy, opens doors to the Ultimate Mercy. As a magic action, you can touch the corpse of a creature that has died within the past 24 hours and expend 5 focus points. The creature then returns to life with a number of hit points equal to 4d10 plus your wisdom modifier. If the creature dies with any of the following conditions, the creature revives with the conditions removed, and that'll be blinded, deafened, paralyzed, poisoned, and stunned. You can use this. You can only use this feature once, and then you can't use it again until you finish a long rest. Um, I mean, level 17, I think, is a little late to get a free Revivify.
Yeah.
But I mean, it is extended. This is more just Resurrection. So is it bad? No. Do I think it's a little late? Yes, but it's still great.
Can I ask a weird question? If your character dies with the blinded condition and they get revivified, are they still blind?
I think it would determine how they were blinded. I would say, like, if they were physically blinded, probably.
All right, let's say poisoned. We'll use that one. If you're poisoned and then like you died, and then you wake and then you are revivified, are you still poisoned? Is it like is it like a Pokemon game where you use revive and then they're after they're dead and they're all healed?
Listen, I don't think I would have a player be poisoned after Revivify,
I only bring it up.
I don't think there's anything in the spell that cures it, so I mean...
I was going to say, just because it's specifically worded in this feature, that made me think, if you die and get revivified, do you still have those conditions?
I enjoy the implication, however, of coming back and you're still stunned. How long was this stun 24 hours later?
Yeah.
Can you imagine your DM telling you you've been hit by something and you're stunned for the next 16 hours?
Like, well, all right, I'll just sit here, I guess.
If that happens, people, just leave the table. Your DM doesn't want you there and you're not going to have any fun. So how are you going to flavor this merciful monk?
Yeah, so I think you can really play into the Plague Doctor, and I think when the Way of Mercy came out, and I think it was Atasha's Cauldron of Everything subclass, they had the photo of a Plague Doctor as like some character art. So you could really go into, I would probably maybe lean into that as the doler out of mercy, and also being totally okay with putting the old pillow over the face of somebody that's on death's door and just kind of ending them. So that's probably how I would play it. Just really just lean into that, because truth be told, and this will probably affect the role a little bit, there's not much else that this class does. It hits you, it heals you. That's it. That's all it really does. So just kind of lean into that, I suppose. Or, you know what I would do? Like, in like Kung Fu Panda, the first one, where they're doing those like nerve attacks. No? Is that just me?
I was not a huge Kung Fu Panda fan. I'll probably get a lot of shit for I don't like monks, I guess, in all forms it would seem. I'm just a terrible person who hates people who love peace and harmony.
Or so maybe instead of like I'll keep the Plague Doctor, but I'll also play it like he hits pressure points on your body to release chi that makes you feel better, and you can like inhibit your ki flow so that it hurts you. That's how I'd play it. How about you?
I would probably go a very different direction and go very, very monk aesthetic. I would want like the bald head, like these yellowish flowing hooded, robes type deal, and just really focus on the mercy part of it rather than the harm. I think is where I would go with it.
So just eliminate a whole half of your kit.
I mean, you could still use it, but I mean, realistically, I don't think Hands of Harm does that much damage.
Yeah, it's that. well, we'll get into it with our rules here. So with my role, I think there can be some fun with the role play of this. I think the features that it has are okay. Once again, everything for this monk specifically is up close. You got to be right in there dealing with stuff. So you got to be melee hitting it. It's unarmed strikes as well. So monk weapons are kind of not
Out the door.
in the picture for this one. So that kind of limits some flavor that you can incorporate into this subclass here. I still think the features are good. I definitely like the level 11 feature, which kind of better uses your key points. It's a lot more, frees up a lot more for yourself. I'm gonna give it like a 14. I like it. It's a fun subclass. You have your pick of damage, or you have your pick of being able to heal. But I just think there's a lot left on the table that
Mm.
the monk's not gonna fill every role. You know, they are very niche type classes. So this one is good because, like you said, it can help with your healers. You can do a good amount of damage up front, but at the same time, you know, you don't have magic, you don't have this, that, or the other. So I think a 14, it's a good subclass, but I think there might be some better monk ones out there.
I also gave it a 14. But for me, I mean, it's similar to the things you're saying, but I feel like you get the Hand of Harm and the Hand of Healing, and then pretty much everything until level 17 is just upgrades for that one specific feature.
Yeah.
So when it comes to versatility, I feel like the Mercy Monk really doesn't have any. You know, you are here for a very, very specific niche, and that's to poison enemies and heal your allies while doing a little bit of physical damage. So I think, I don't think you're going to be as powerful as, a fighter at damage. You're not going to be as powerful as a cleric or druid at healing. So you're kind of just in this middle ground where you're kind of doing a little bit of everything, but not really doing super amazing at anything.
Mm-hmm.
Um, because yes, monks can do a lot of damage when they start busting these flurry of blows out, but you only get so many of those per fight. I feel like the monk always really feels like one of those like Nova classes where to really have a big impact, you have to do everything.
Yeah.
Otherwise you're just kind of there.
And that's probably the main reason why they buffed the heck out of it with the uncanny metabolism, being able to get your key points back every single time you roll initiative. So you can just dump everything as quickly as you want. Really, it's almost like, especially for a monk in 2024, you should not have any key points remaining after a fight.
Correct.
It's kind of built so that you don't have any key points remaining after a fight.
Mm-hmm.
You just dump it all in because you get it right back as soon as you start another fight. Not even a short rest, just another initiative roll, and boom, there you go.
They are here to clear a fight quickly, but in those prolonged fights, you might have a little bit of trouble. Next up, we are going to move to the Warrior of Shadow. Harness Shadow power for stealth and subterfuge. I cannot talk today, goodness gracious. Warriors of Shadow practice stealth and subterfuge, harnessing the power of the Shadowfell. They are at home in the darkness and able to draw gloom around themselves to hide, leap from the shadows, and take on a wraith-like form. So if before, this Mercy was kind of like, oh, I want to be a monk, but I kind of want to be a cleric. This is, oh, I want to be a monk, but I kind of want to be a rogue also. I feel like a Gloomstalker Ranger cross class would be really fun with this, just from theming before we even look into it. But at level 3, we're gonna grab Shadow Arts. You have learned to draw on the power of the Shadowfell, gaining the following benefits. The first being Darkness. You can expend one focus on darkness without spell components. You can see within the darkened area that you cast with this feature. While the spell persists, you can move darkness 60 feet close to yourself at the start of each of your turns. So you can move this darkness at the start of your turn, which normal darkness spell you don't get. So that's pretty amazing to be able to do that because, our full casters can't. We are also going to be grabbing Dark Vision. You gain Dark Vision with a range of 60 feet. If you already have Dark Vision, its range is increased by 60 feet. And Shadowy Figments. You know the minor illusion spell, Wisdom is your spellcasting ability for it. So right off the gate, I feel like much like Monk, we're getting a lot up front. We're getting a darkness spell that we can move. We're grabbing Dark Vision if we didn't have it. If you were a drow who already had a crazy Dark Vision, you have even crazier Dark Vision. And we get minor illusions. So, I mean, if you're wanting to be a stealthy person, I think this is a pretty great start.
Yeah. And, monks can be a rather dexterous class, as, dexterity is like one of their primary attributes there. And, with darkness, there's always those combos you can do with people if you kind of plan it out that way. But keep in mind, for party members that aren't equipped to deal with darkness, you're going to cause a lot of people some problems because it's the darkness magic spell, and only very certain features allow you to see through that. Pair this with your warlocks or something like that, and then boom, you'll be okay. But not many other things will have that blind being able to see through the magical darkness. At level 6, we pick up Shadow Step. While entirely within dim light or darkness, you can use a bonus action to teleport up to 60 feet to an unoccupied space you can see that is also in dim light or darkness. Then you have advantage on the next melee attack you make before the end of the current turn. This one is going to be... I feel like this kind of monk is going to be asking the DM where the shadows are in all of these areas. Where is an area of dim light that I can, sneak off to and then teleport? Because within your darkness, you have to teleport to an area that has dim light or darkness. And the darkness spell that you can move is done at the start of each of your turns. So essentially, it's like, because how big's the darkness sphere? Is it like 20 feet? Something like that?
I believe so.
Right. So I'm trying to think of like a way that you can really utilize this. 15. So if you got some shadows over here and you move your darkness, 30 feet or 60 feet, you can already move like 50 feet at this point, I'm pretty sure, as a monk anyways. I kind of feel like this teleport is kind of almost unnecessary in a way, because you can move so quickly. You can use a step of the wind to, as a bonus action, to disengage and just move. And because this takes up your bonus action, which then you can't flurry of blows or anything like that with it. I just think it's pretty situational in terms of what you're dealing with. At least that's how I can see it. It's like maybe you have a different opinion.
I have a very different opinion. I think this gets used all the time because it's being used against me actively in a campaign. Literally jump under a table and you are in dimly lit area. I think that it is obnoxious. I think it is crazy, and you will drive your DMs crazy with this. If you were fighting at night, everywhere around you is dimly lit, if not darkness. So you can just teleport wherever you want within 60 feet. I will agree that situationally it's useless. If you are in a super brightly lit area without anywhere to duck and hide, you're going to be struggling. But if you are in a campaign that takes you in darkness a lot, you are going to get a lot of bang for your buck out of this.
Yeah, like I said, this is like the kind of class where, very much like the Gloomstalker, you're going to be asking your DM, where are them little shadows at? Where can I go, just put myself in, and then I can get all of my features that my subclass has, because I'm in this little pocket of shade.
At level 11, though, we are going to get improved Shadow Step. You can draw on your Shadowfell connection to empower your teleportation. When you use your Shadow Step, you can expend 1 focus point to remove the requirement that you must start and end in dim light or darkness for that use of the feature. As part of the bonus action, you can make an unarmed strike immediately after you teleport.
Yes,
This, this is the point in which I've had it. This is the point in which I'm done with this subclass as a DM, because it's so annoying. But yeah, I like it. I think it's good. It's strong. I
So
just hate it.
it's essentially a 1 focus point Misty Step, and you
Mhm.
get to you Misty Step behind them, and as part of it, you get to punch them in the head at the same time for 1 focus
Correct.
point. So that's
And then you
pretty
can use your
nice.
action to just continue your assaults.
Yeah.
So
Once again,
excellent.
this whole, because the whole Shadow Step takes a bonus action, so you're not able to. Well, can you still Flurry of Blows with it? No, Flurry of Blows is your bonus action because you call it. I'm using Flurry of Blows with my bonus action. So this is
Mhm.
a separate thing. So this Shadow Step is your bonus action use. Just at this level 11, you get to hit with it as well, and you can just teleport wherever, which is nice. At level 17, our capstone feature is the Cloak of Shadows. As a magic action, while entirely within dim light or darkness, you can expend 3 focus points to shroud yourself with shadows for 1 minute, until you have the incapacitated condition or until the end of your turn in bright light. While shrouded by these shadows, you gain the following benefits. You have the invisible condition, and you are partially incorporeal. You can move through occupied spaces as if they were difficult terrain. If you end your turn in such a space, you are shunted to the last unoccupied space you were in. And then the final one, Shadow Flurry. You can use your Flurry of Blows without expending any focus points. It would be nice if it didn't have that, once again, the requirement of the dim light or darkness, seeing how we just got rid of it with the Shadow Step. I feel like this could have just been something that you just emanate shadows over yourself. You don't need to be in dim light. You don't need to like give me a little bit of that darkness and I'll put it on myself. It should just like emit off of you. But
Mhm.
you know, who am I to speak to the designers here?
Yeah, again, this one's very situational.
Because the
I
invisible condition goes away as soon as you hit somebody, right? Or is it just
Not
always,
necessarily.
or is it
That's
just
just the invisible spell.
so okay? So it's just the invisible conditions on you for this whole 1 minute.
And all
Oh,
you gotta do is start in the dim light darkness. You don't have to stay in it.
yeah, yeah. Well, it's like you come spell your or use your darkness spell, walk through it, use this feature, come out of
Mhm.
it. You know, they're gonna assume you're over here while you're actually behind them, punching them in the back of the head, all
Mhm.
invisible like.
I'm gonna be honest, I just think it's okay.
Yeah. So how would you flavor this one? What would you do?
I think to flavor this, I would probably go super stereotypical yet again and do like a Shadowfell, like Shadar Kai assassin type deal. Maybe like a worshiper of Baal, maybe. I
Okay.
don't know.
Mm-hmm. I definitely think this one's a big favorite for probably multi-classing, probably with Gloomstalker Ranger, to be honest with you. But I would probably, I'm making a ninja. That's what I'm doing. Just straight up, I am a ninja assassin. Let's go. Because
Hmm.
that's legitimately the most I can think about this. Because you don't get the cool stuff till like level 17. If I had that Cloak of Shadows, I don't know if you've ever played the game Shadow of Mordor. I remembered immediately. Shadow of Mordor, where you can be like a wraith type person and
Hmm.
you have all those cool abilities, but you don't get that until like much later on. So just play him. I'm playing a ninja. That's what I'm doing.
For my role, I give it a 16. I know that's probably high for a situational, very kind of niche, relying on darkness subclass. But I feel like the fact that you can literally just dunk under tables really quick, it kind of, if your DM will allow you to cheese it just a little bit, most of those can get around pretty easily, and most of the time I find that you're in at least dim light. So I don't feel like the restrictions are always going to be super prominent.
Mm-hmm.
But overall, I think it's a versatile subclass in terms of utility for movement and still, getting the monk able to do the damage that they need to do. Only reason I didn't give it higher is because of the Shadow Step costing a bonus action and losing your Flurry of Blows. If
Yeah.
it was you could Flurry of Blows at the end of your Shadow Step for the improved, that would have been better. But it's not. It's just one attack.
Yeah. I'm going to give it a 15, just a little bit less than yours. I do think this class could be quite powerful if you are planning out your party composition ahead of time with darkness specifically, because that is the main attraction of this entire monk subclass, is that bonus action, or sorry, that darkness spell. And as Bobby knows, you could really piss off your DMs if not only you are a monk, but making everything fight in darkness at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
So that's how you really piss off your dungeon master, is you kind of have this, and you have a warlock, and then why not? We have a fighter with blind fighting, just running running in there too, just attacking everybody. That's how you really piss off your dungeon master. But outside of that, like you could have a great infiltration type team if you had like a rogue with you, because the monk doesn't get access to the skill proficiencies that like a rogue would get. They don't get like this. Well, maybe they get it for like their like sleight of hand and stuff like that. They can pick. Actually,
Mm-hmm.
they can't. They can get stealth. They can get acrobatics.
Mm-hmm.
They don't get like sleight of hand or anything like that. I just think they're definitely will help you get into places, but they don't have like the skills to back it up, nor anything from their class specifically that will help you in those kind of situations.
Yeah, picture with me for a moment. You're DMing, right? And your players are doing an infiltration thing, and they have a Shadow Monk, literally any rogue, and a Ranger, a Gloomstalker Ranger with Pass Without Trace.
Yeah, you just
There's nothing that a DM can do. That is the combo. You are getting in anywhere you want to go
yeah.
and doing whatever you want to do.
Yeah, but like I said, you need like for that infiltration, you essentially need like a rogue in that mix for the lock picking and trap detection or whatever the case may be. On its own, I don't think it's powerful. There's no extra bonuses to damage or anything like that, right? That you would get from the monk, the Hand of Warrior of Mercy monk. You just get this movement bonus. That's kind of all you really get from this class. So 15 for the potential combos that it could do, but on its own, I don't think it's the best one.
I feel like your statement there is a little reverse. I think on its own, it's a lot more powerful, if I'm being honest. I think you have to have a group cater to you.
Yeah.
Whereas like Mercy can cater to the group has to cater to you.
Yeah.
For the
I
group
guess
to be effective around you.
Yeah, that's probably what I wanted to say in my heart, but my brain didn't agree. But on the other hand, we got our next subclass, which I think probably got some of the most overhaul from 2014, is the Warrior of the Elements. Wield strikes and bursts of elemental power. Warriors of the Elements tap into the power of the elemental planes. Harnessing their supernatural focus, these monks momentarily tame the energy of the elemental chaos to empower themselves in and out of battle. So at level 3, we are going to get Elemental Attunement. At the start of your turn, you can expend 1 focus point to imbue yourself with elemental energy. The energy lasts for 10 minutes or until you have the incapacitated condition. You gain the following benefits while this feature is active. Reach. When you make an unarmed strike, your reach is 10 feet greater than normal, as elemental energy extends from you. And you also get elemental strikes. Whenever you hit with your unarmed strike, you can cause it to deal your choice of acid, cold, fire, lightning, or thunder damage rather than its normal damage type. When you deal one of these types with it, you can also force the target to make a strength saving throw. On a failed save, you can move the target up to 10 feet towards or away from you as the elemental energy swirls around it. And then at level 3, we also get Manipulate Elements. You know, the Elementalism spell, your Wisdom spellcasting modifier is the ability for it. The Elementalism spell, it's kind of like a little, it's like a different prestidigitation almost, in a way.
Yeah, I don't understand why they put a spellcasting modifier for it because nothing in it is
Does
rolled.
anything? Yeah, so I don't know, whatever.
I mean, maybe if you have like 2 elementalism cantrips against each other, we could do it contested. Maybe. I don't know. That's weird to me that they put that.
For this level 3 feature, the elemental attunement is what we're really after, and this is a fantastic level 3 feature for a monk. Having reach, being able to change your choice of elemental damage just to suit the combat that you're in, also being able to add the potential push or pull effect every time, or is it once per turn when you deal damage? Yeah, every time it looks like you can do it.
Every time
You hit, and that's possibly you could hit them 4 times with flurry of blows, and when you get to 2 attacks, so you could be pushing people 40 feet if you really need to.
Level 6, we're grabbing Elemental Burst. As a magic action, you can expend 2 focus points to cause you to burst in a 20-foot radius sphere centered around a point within 120 feet of yourself. Choose a damage type between acid, cold, fire, lightning, and thunder. Each creature in the sphere must make a dexterity saving throw. On a failed save, the creature takes damage of the chosen type equal to 3 rolls of your martial arts die. On a successful save, the creature takes half as much damage. As a DM, I hate this, but like as someone who, we had Zara with us for a while who was a Way of the Elements monk, giving a punching class 1 range, which we're giving on the elemental attunement, but now a ranged AoE damage ability. I think this is so good. This is like a minor fireball. It's not going to be as big as a fireball damage-wise, but I mean, essentially, like, it's a 20-foot radius spell with 120-foot range.
It's essentially a kind of a cross between the Shatter spell and like a fireball. It's a little bit bigger than the sphere for Shatter, but it's the same damage because at level 6 we have our monk damage die being a D8. So you get 3 D8, and that is the damage from Shatter. So, and you can change it to whatever element you want. Pretty great.
So very versatile. AoE, which I don't think any monk really has great AoE potential. They're generally seen as very single target. So I think that's a great addition. Also, following that at level 11, we're going to get Stride of the Elements. While your elemental attunement is active, you also have a fly speed and swim speed equal to your speed. That's, to me, is terrifying.
Because at this point, at level 11, you have an additional 20 feet of movement. So if you are just a run-of-the-mill, humanoid type creature, you're at 50 movement speed. So now you can fly.
Out of the wind.
Or swim. Or step the wind and fly 100 feet. Or if you're a class already has bonus to movement, add that on there.
Absolute menace, this subclass is.
Yeah, you add mobile onto the whatever we can do. You're just zipping around all over the place. Our capstone at level 17 is Elemental Epitome. While your elemental attunement is active, and once again, that's just at the start of your turn, burn 1 focus point. At level 17, we get the following benefits. Damage resistance. You gain resistance to one of the following damage types of your choice. Acid, cold, fire, lightning, or thunder. At the start of each of your turns, you can change this choice. That's nice. Destructive Stride. When you use your Step of the Wind, your movement speed increases by 20 feet until the end of your turn, and that applies to your swim speed or your fly speed that you get from level 11. For that duration, any creatures of your choice takes damage equal to one roll of your martial arts die when you enter in a space within 5 feet of it. The damage type is acid, cold, fire, lightning, or thunder, and a creature can only take this damage once per turn. So at level 17, we are at a d12 of damage, so that's good. And Empowered Strikes. Once on each of your turns, you can deal extra damage to a target equal to one roll of your martial arts die when you hit with an unarmed strike. The extra damage is the same type dealt by that strike. So, pretty good all around, I would say.
I gotta be honest. I think this is the best capstone that the monk subclasses have had so far.
Oh, yeah,
Um,
absolutely.
I can find nothing wrong with it. I can find nothing that I would change about it.
Being able to change your damage resistances around, and probably at level 17, if your DM's generous, you might have found an item or two that gives you resistance to one thing or another. So now you just got, a couple of choices to make. You get a little bit of damage when you get up close to them, a d12 of damage, right? Just as soon as you're within 5 feet of them. And you gain more damage when you hit them as well. So just lots of stacking damage on top of everything here.
So how are you going to flavor your way of the elements?
We were talking about this before we started recording. I will be the avatar. I mean, I can't, I don't want to imagine playing this any other way aside from being like an avatar type bender of some sorts. Maybe I stick with one particular element that I favor, but that would probably be what I would lean into.
You know I'm a sucker for hindering my characters for the sake of roleplay, right? I think, if I'm being honest, if I played this, I would probably stick to one element, and I would play a genasi of the same element to really drive home this kind of thematic, like if I, fire genasi for fire and just really just beat the crap out of people with fire.
Yeah, I love it. That's awesome. For my role for this one, I'm going to give this one an 18. I really like it for the monk. Best one so far out of all of them, either on its own or within a party. You can fly. You can just fly as part of your feature. That's nice. You get reach as a monk. That's fantastic. You don't have any access to martial weapons that typically have reach. So just getting reach is nice. Kind of saves you from having to burn things like your disengage, whatever that one is called, as a bonus action. That little burst of magic you can do, giving that range option. You can fly. It's just good. I like it.
I changed my mind on my flavor.
Okay.
I want to be a bugbear, so I have extra reach on my arms strikes, and then it'll just be extra reach.
20-foot range, just little
I
fighter
just want to be like a mid-ranged combatant the whole time.
And
the decision has been made.
And you can just bully. You can just bully him because you can just punch him back or forward however you want.
For my role, I gave this one a 19 because I feel like it fills the gap of everything I feel like the monk doesn't have, which is damage type versatility, range, and AoE. I feel like it emboldens what they do have with all of its extra movement speeds. And with the damage resistance, I feel like monks often will be squishy, so having extra damage resistances are always going to be something that we want with our monk. I feel like had our elemental attunement given us like a d4 of that elemental damage added on top of our normal damage, it probably would have been a nat 20 for me. But here we are. So I think this is flawless subclass that anyone will have fun with, which is hilarious considering its 2014 counterpart would probably have been our first below 10.
Yeah.
After that, we're going to have the Warrior of the Open Hand, Master of Unarmed Combat Techniques. Warriors of the Open Hand are masters of unarmed combat. They learn techniques to push and trip their opponents and manipulate their own and to protect themselves from harm. So at level 3, we're going to grab Open Hand Technique. Whenever you hit a creature with an attack granted by your flurry of blows, you can impose one of the following effects to the target. The first being Addle. The target can't make opportunity attacks until the start of its next turn. Push. The target must succeed on a strength saving throw or be pushed up to 15 feet away from you. Or Topple. The target must succeed on a dexterity saving throw or have the prone condition. These are okay, I think. They're just there.
They did a lot of these with the the weapon masteries, right? Like a lot of these kind of features are part of the weapon masteries, but I don't think monks get any kind of weapon masteries or anything like that. So this is what you do, I guess, if you want kind of weapon masteries with your hands or the other weapons the monk weapons you get to use. They all involve saving throws, and the weapon masteries typically don't. Usually, like you just got to hit them, and you get the benefit of the weapon mastery for a lot of them.
I feel like Addle is the only one that we haven't seen some other way of getting it. You're a monk. If you need to get away, you can just disengage and dash at the same time. I feel like this is really only useful if your party need to get away and you need to stop them from using opportunity attacks.
Yeah. Well, like for this specifically though, you wouldn't really be able to use that disengage option, because I think you can use that as a bonus action, because this takes your flurry of blows. So you have to use flurry of blows in order for you to get the adult on them. So then you can't use your bonus action to you can just walk away, I suppose, because they can't hit you with opportunity attack. So that's kind of the benefit of it, is that you're able to still disengage from them while you do damage, and then you just, take off the other way. So I feel like that would probably be the one I would use most, I would say. Topple would probably be the next one.
I like Topple.
Yeah, Addle and Topple would probably be the two that I would use the most, honestly. I don't know how you rule it, Bobby. Do you usually allow like the bonus action? Well, you have to use the I know monk's kind of specific. Like for the bonus action for the monk, like do they have to make a main attack action first and then bonus action flurry of blows? Mainly because I'm trying to think, like, if it was a monk and I'm 1v1ing an enemy, as an example, I bonus action flurry of blows in order to knock them prone, and now I have my attack actions that are at advantage because they are prone in front of me. I don't know if that can happen that way.
Yeah, there is nothing in the rules that say that flurry of blows has to happen after a attack. I don't know if maybe in 2014 it might have said that, but that is not the case anymore.
Okay, yeah, so I would flurry of blows first, get those bonus action 2 attacks, topple them, and then punch them more. At level 6, we pick up Wholeness of Body. You gain the ability to heal yourself. As a bonus action, you can roll your martial arts die. You regain a number of hit points equal to the number rolled plus your wisdom modifier. You can use this feature a number of times equal to your wisdom modifier, and you regain all expended uses when you finish a long rest. So you get a d8 plus 2 or 3, whatever your wisdom modifier happens to be. It's no elemental burst, but I guess.
At level 11, though, we are getting Fleet Step. When you take a bonus action other than Step, you can also use Step of the Wind immediately after that bonus action.
So you're just moving. You're just flying around, moving quick, and that's it. The last one, Quivering Palm. You gain the ability to set up lethal vibrations in somebody's body. When you hit a creature with an unarmed strike, you can expend 4 focus points to start these imperceptible vibrations, which last for a number of days equal to your monk level. So 17 days. The vibrations are harmless unless you take an action to end them. Alternatively, when you take the attack action on your turn, you can forego one of the attacks to end the vibrations. Okay, to end them, you and the target must be on the same plane of existence. What is happening? When you end them, the target must make a Constitution saving throw, taking 10 d12 force damage on a failed save, or half as much done on a successful one, or half as much on a successful one. You can have only one creature under the effect of this at a time. You can end the vibrations harmlessly, no action required. Okay, so what I'm seeing is this is from Kill Bill, like that heart-stopping attack.
Oh, I was gonna say, when in the first one when she's fighting and like her sword is like vibrating and she stops the vibration and all of them fall.
Yeah, or it's something
I
like
feel like
that.
that's what this is.
Or this is like that. You hit them in the chest and then they take like 10 steps and then their heart explodes or something like that.
Mhm.
So
I don't like this.
So you hit them with an unarmed strike. You expend those 4 focus points, and they're just
Mhm.
they got these little vibrations going on for 17 days. So within this 17-day span of time, unless you take an action to end them, so then you as the player decide now's the time it's ending, and then you can also take an action on your turn, an attack action on your turn, foregoing one of the attacks and the vibration. So I feel like I would use this a whole lot, to be honest with you. Like every time I hit somebody, I would use this because it is 10d12 of force damage. I don't even own that many
Yeah,
d12.
I do.
Well, I know you do. So I mean, I would probably use this a fair bit, to be honest. Like I would,
Mhm.
like, why wouldn't you just use it every single time? It's a
Yeah.
Constitution saving throw, and they're at least taking half damage on it, and they just got to be in the same plane of existence. So here's what you do: if there's an NPC that you really hate, you
Mhm.
just do an unarmed strike against them, and then you walk away, and then just like
Mhm.
they're just chilling. It's like day 16. They're just sitting on their front porch, and then you stop it, and then they explode.
Do I like it? No. I think it's worded really poorly. I think
It's weird.
this should have been like 10 minutes. If I'm being honest, I feel like this should last like 10 minutes at most.
Yeah, it's like you got to use that. See,
17
that would have
days
been
feels
that
ridiculous.
would make more sense. Like why? Like I feel like it's
Why are
this
we
is like
vibrating for 17 days?
this is the trolliest like capstone feature I've ever seen in my life, where you just hit somebody and then 17 days later you make them blow up. I would use this for trolling specifically. Like that's all I would do.
I want to use this as a DM specifically. I cannot wait to just have an enemy put this on it, and then like 17 days later, just like smacking them, even not with this much damage, but just 17 days later hitting them with something.
It's like they're just eating lunch,
So
and it's like,
stupid.
roll a Constitution save for me. Is my food poisoned? No, it was. Remember you got hit 2 weeks ago.
No. Remember that quivering palm 2 weeks ago?
No, it's come.
God.
It has come back with a vengeance.
I'm gonna be honest, I have no idea how I would flavor this other than just basic ass monk here punching people like Kill Bill style.
Yeah,
This is a janky, gimmicky, silly monk, I feel like.
I have no reason to play this class. I'll put it that way. There is nothing on here that makes me want to play it outside of the quivering palm trolling that could happen, but that's at
Yeah.
level 17. I feel like if anything, like reduce that damage down and throw it into like I don't know, make it a level 6 feature so at least you can do more damage or something like that. Cuz wholeness of
Mhm.
body is basically nothing. A D8, a single D8 of damage that you heal. Even the fleet step, you just get the step of the wind automatically. Like that, throw that into the wholeness of body. Why wouldn't you just combine those two,
Mhm.
right? Like there's no reason not to. And then
So
quivering
I feel
palm, and then
like
there you go.
this falls very much in line with the other ones though, in terms of like I want to be a monk, but I also want to be a cleric. I want to be a monk, but I also want to be a rogue. I feel like Elemental was I want to be a sorcerer. And this one is it kind of feels like I'm a monk, but I want to be a fighter because we're getting like off-brand weapon mastery. We're getting, you know, budgets second wind essentially. It just, with the exception of the Quivering Palm, I feel like this is
Flavor wise, it would just be like how you had it for your first one, the traditional bald headed wearing a robe kind of monk. Like I can't even think of anything cool for this one.
Yeah, I'm just gonna throw my roll out. It was an 11.
Yeah.
I don't like it. I think it's boring. If you get to level 17, the troll factor alone brings it up to maybe a 14, but that's it.
Yeah. I'm going to give it a 10. Like, I just
Oh!
am lower than yours, yeah. Because there's nothing good about this. There's no redeeming quality to it, honestly. Everything, just play a fighter. Like, why wouldn't you play a fighter? You get so much more as a fighter.
I mean,
outside of the movements and stuff.
You still get all the monk stuff, you still get all the base monk stuff. So I mean, I could see if you just really want to play monk and not a fighter.
I mean, but you get all the monk stuff anyways with all the other ones. I would rather play any of the other ones. Especially
play one of the other ones and reflavor it.
Sure.
Play elements, but like flavor it as like something different, honestly, instead of elemental stuff. Talk to your DM. Anything is better than this.
Just you get force. You get force like attacks anyways, so just play an elemental one and at least you get reach. You can fly.
Yeah.
You can fly at level 7 instead of just getting Step of the Wind added onto it. I'd rather fly than get Step of the Wind, I'll put it that way.
All right, do you want to do your overall or do you want me to go first?
I'll go first. So at the top of my list, I'm pretty sure we have the exact same list, Bobby. But elemental monk with an 18 for me. Second place, we have the shadow monk. I gave it a 15. At level 3, we get, or actually third place, I should say, we get the mercy monk, another fun little class. And then at the bottom, the open hand monk. Not as good as the Baldur's Gate 3 counterpart. But yeah, that's my list. How about you?
Yeah, at first place, I obviously placed the Elemental Monk with 19 because of its absolute versatility, and it does what it wants when it wants. At second place, I gave it to the Shadow with 1 point higher than you with a 16, mainly because I've had my NPCs asses handed to them by these obnoxious Shadow Monks before. At third place, I did put the Mercy with 14 because they are a great off healer if you're looking for that kind of playstyle. And Open Palm, I wasn't as harsh as you were with a 10. I gave it 11. I think the argument for the 10 is valid.
Even if you're going for a damage dealing monk, the other ones have additional damage added to it.
I would like to say if you're not going to get to level 17 in your campaign, this is a 9 for me.
Yeah, exactly. If I don't get my trolley Quivering Palm, there's no point. I can push people with the elemental punch. I already get it. Why would I? Anyways.
All right, well, thank you for hanging out with us as we absolutely talked up and gaslit some of these monk subclasses and absolutely garbage dumpstered the other ones. We hope you tune in with us next time. And until then, may all of your intelligence checks be successful. Bye.